Content warning again. Getting ready to see something very disturbing. His name is Rand Paul. I believe this was today. This was Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas being questioned by Senator Rand Paul.
Policies. Do we have guardrails? Do we have standards?
But here's the problem.
Ensure,
We can't even agree. We can't even agree what disinformation.
Oh, we're talking about the disinformation ministry, whatever the fuck the Biden administration has called it. We're gonna get to all the details here in just a second. It's some sort of shit under Homeland Security. They're gonna fight misinformation. I mean, in theory, I agree with Rand Paul. That we don't really want the government telling us what is and is not misinformation. But also, I don't know what the purpose of the Bureau is, what their mission is, what they'll be doing. We'll get all those details here in just a second.
Information is. You can't even agree that it was disinformation, that the Russians fed information to the Steele dossier. If you can't agree to that, how are we ever going to come to an agreement on what is disinformation so you can police it on social media?
Okay, so that's a weird thing to say, that Russians fed information to the Steele dossier. So, like, what? The Steele dossier was opposition research, and it's not necessarily going to have shit that's true in it. It's going to be like, oh, face these accusations, and we have this degree of confidence, blah, 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 blah. It's an assessment of allegations against your political opponent. So this idea that, like, Russia fed information to it, of course they did. Weird.
I think you've got no idea what disinformation is, and I think the government's capable of it. Do you know who the greatest propagator of disinformation in the history of the world is? The U.S. government.
Rand Paul? Oh. History of the world. No, not in the history of the world. That's one of those short-sighted things where, like, you think America's the greatest country, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, we haven't had the time. We haven't had the time. Probably Britain. I mean, just given the fucking sheer fucking time frame and the scale of the British Empire. No offense, warlord, if you're still here. No, not the United States, though. The United States have shoveled some fucking bullshit. Don't get me wrong, Rand. I'll agree with you there.
Are you familiar with McNamara?
Being a bit hyperbolic.
Pentagon Papers? Are you familiar with George W. Bush and the weapons of mass destruction? Are you familiar with Iran-Contra? I mean, think of all the debates and...
Think of all the shit that you just named off that was your party doing dirty fucking shit. Think about it, Rand Paul. It's your party. Everything you just named was your party. Catholic Church, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good pick. That's a smart money bet right there on the Catholic Church.
Disputes we've had over the last 50 years in our country, we work them out by debating them. We don't work them out by the government being the arbiter. I don't want you guardrails. I want you to have nothing to do with speech. You think we can't determine, speech by traffickers is disinformation? You think the American people are so stupid they need you to tell them what truth is? You can't even admit.
I mean, the American people are stupid.
I don't trust government to figure out what the truth is. Government is largely deceptive.
Stupid. Once again, back to the Steele dossier. God damn, Rand Paul, you fucking. You're stupid. Let's find out what the Disinformation Board uproar is all about, shall we? This is a article in the Independent. GOP Ministry of Truth slurs against Biden's Disinformation Board expose their own political tricks, experts say. This is an article in the Independent written by Andrew Feinberg. And this was before the hearing that we were just watching. Long-standing Department of Homeland Security effort to combat foreign disinformation has touched off outrage amount of Republicans who say touched off outrage. Amount Republicans who say the department. That is totally not me. Fuck it. Like, that's their words. I'm struggling to read what the Independent wrote. Long-standing Department of Homeland Security effort to combat foreign disinformation has touched off outrage. Republicans who say the department is assembling an Orwellian minister of truth, but experts and former GOP insiders say the Sturm and Drang. Never heard that phrase before. This whole thing is fucking me up. I'm either too high for this or not high enough for this. The Sturmendrang over the DHS program shows how much the Trump-era iteration of the Party of Lincoln has come to depend on lying as a political strategy and therefore fears not being able to count on their lies going unchallenged. Last week, Fox News reporters began pressing White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki about a news item first reported by Politico, which stated that DHS was standing up a disinformation governance board to counter foreign disinformation and misinformation related to Homeland Security, led by ex-Wilson Center fellow Nina Jankowicz. Miss Jankowicz. I'm sorry I'm fucking your name up. Miss Jankowicz, who holds a master's degree in Russian, Eurasian, and East European Studies from Georgetown University School of Foreign Service, is a well-known expert who has studied the nexus between democracy and technology and how disinformation can undermine democracies, with a particular specialization in Central and Eastern Europe. Is this the woman that they shared the video of her, like, dancing at a karaoke? That her? I think it is. Let's take a break from the Independent article here and go to this. This has been an all-out attack. Biden disinfo boss Nina Jankowicz once belted out a raunchy parody Christmas song. This seems to be news to the New York Post. President Biden's new disinformation czar, Nina Jankowicz, once belted out a raunchy parody version of a Christmas song, changing the lyrics to ask who she needed to fuck to be famous and powerful, according to resurfaced YouTube footage.
Ever since I was a baby, I have had one dream in mind.
Is this supposed to...
I think maybe it will finally
The video from Jankowicz is the latest display of her vocal chops to make the rounds around the web this week. On Friday, a cringeworthy video of her emerged on TikTok, adapting the Mary Poppins classic Supercalifragilistic into a song about fake news and let's watch that one. Hold on, we'll come back to this. No, please give me the Mary Poppins song. God damn.
Murdering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice or vote. Oh, information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origin seems slightly less atrocious. Whew.
She's a decent singer. I think they're jealous. All these motherfucking right-wingers wanted to be theater kids. Probably got rejected by all the theater kids. So they're jealous of people with actual talent.
Rich, famous, and powerful. Step on all my enemies and never do a thing. saying I want to be rich, famous, and powerful. So all I have to do in life is sit around and sing. I don't want to work, struggle, or compromise. When I set a goal, I want to reach it right away. 'Cause paying your dues.
She's just doing a fucking song. It's this is a headline today in the New York Post. Oh no, that's today's date. This is published about 9 days ago. I'm sorry. I'm disinformation over here. Miss Jankowicz holds a master's degree in Russian, Eurasian, and East European Studies from Georgetown University School of Foreign Service. It's a well-known expert who has studied the nexus between democracy and technology. But the appointment of Miss Jankowicz to helm DHS's anti-disinformation efforts touched off a geyser of grievance among Republican office holders and their conservative media allies. Citing public statements she'd made describing the October 2020 New York Post reporting on a laptop thought to have belonged to Hunter Biden as a Trump campaign product, and other statements perceived to be at odds with conservative media narratives regarding Mr. Biden and Mr. Trump. Though a May the 2nd fact sheet released by the DHS laid out the department's aims, including a focus on disinformation that threatens the security of the American people, including disinformation spread by foreign states such as Russia, China, and Iran, or other adversaries such as transnational criminal organizations and human smuggling organizations. Republicans were animated by the false belief that the Biden administration was establishing some manner of universal arbiter of what is true and what is not for political purposes. A Wednesday hearing before the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, Senator Rand Paul appears to believe that the DHS board would be retroactively fact-checking news outlets and asked Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas if the board would have deemed the infamous dossier on Donald Trump compiled by former MI6 agent Christopher Steele as Russian disinformation. After Mr. Mayorkas explained the board's function, which was cut out of the video we just watched, to ensure guardrails, definitions, and standards meant to safeguard civil rights, privacy, and free speech, Mr. Paul resumed his complaints. The Kentucky senator said that the greatest propagator of disinformation in the world, or in the history of the world, has been the U.S. government, which in and of itself was disinformation, because we threw out a couple of different people who could be in the running, organization, a country and a religious organization that could be in the running. Also, the Bible is a good one in there. Christianity as a whole, but like specifically the Catholic Church and all the shit they've been doing for years and years and years.